guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles, the middle of the winter 2024 season, and of course that means one thing, that means it's time for my Midway review. Hello and welcome to the channel. If you are new, I am Clockwork Noodles. I break down anime twice a week at the moment. We are actually at one of the quieter periods on the channel just because my life is just busy at the moment. But we are here to discuss my top 3 OPs, EDs, current standing of animes. Anything can change when it comes to anime. It's just currently a touching base. How am I feeling so far? This season has been awesome. There's so many good shows going on, and a lot of them as well I've been very pleasantly surprised with. There's only been, I think, a few where I've picked it up and gone, actually, you know what? Not interested. It is time to go into my top 3 OPs. Before we get going, make sure you guys are subscribed. I hope you're looking after yourselves and you're also enjoying this season as a whole. Of course, before we get going, there are some house rules. These are just my opinion. My opinion in the grand scheme of everything means absolutely nothing. Be polite, and I'm being polite as well. I don't think I've ever slammed somebody for their opinion, so don't do it to me, because we are all friends here at the Clockwork Noodles Noodle Bowl. We're here to discuss anime, and that is the best thing that unites us. I'm going to go through my OPs in a way where it won't just be I like this song. It's going to be I like this song and I think what they're doing with the OP really works. Crown my top song, and I'll mention it to you guys as well what I think the top song is, but I'll also mention the anime I think has the best generated content opening, where they've actually put a lot of thought into the OP itself. We're gonna start with an honourable mention, which is Delicious in Dungeon Meshi, the Bump of Chicken OP, which I really like. I found Bump of Chicken a very long time ago because once upon a time I was into Vocaloid, and I think Miku did Ray with those guys, and it was a really cool song. But this one itself is a really cool one. It's got a bit of a fairy tale vibe. Celtic, it's got the pipes, it's got a lot of wind work in it as well. It really sets up that medieval I'm going dungeon crawling vibe, which I think really works. The OP is fast paced, I think it's very colourful, gets you in the mood for whatever craziness is going on in the anime itself. The anime is also a fun one. I've really enjoyed watching it, and I absolutely love the characters. I think some of the characters are just crazy fun. Not sure I want them in my party, but some of them I definitely appreciate hanging out with once or twice. But that is my honourable. So let's go into the top 3. I will say with the top 3, I've had a lot of back and forthing, and I think I might have been a bit influenced by the fact that a lot of people were slamming one of them, which is sad because at one point it was my favourite. We're going to go into top 3 with that in mind. Generally, I try not to be influenced by other people's opinions, but this one, it's been very difficult not to be influenced. In third place, sadly, is my baby, which is Solo Leveling's Hiroyuki Sawano opening. I do agree it's not his best song. However, I know he's just really responsible for the beat. I do like the content more than the song. So the content itself is really great. It sets up a few things. I do think it's a little bit spoilery because some of the stuff that I was looking at then suddenly happened in the first episode. I'm like, oh, okay. I knew he was going to grow short hair or something. I do think it's quite good paced. It's got a quite nice beat to it. I know a few people have got issues with it, but that's probably all I really want to say on the opening itself, because I don't want to go into too much of the mess that's appearing on the scene at the moment. We tried to stay out of it here. So generally, I like the song. I love Hiroyuki Sawano as a composer, but it isn't my favourite off the peak anyway. Recently been going back through the 86 soundtrack, and absolutely gorgeous soundtrack that was. In second place, we're going to go for the Apothecary Diaries one. I have already broken this down properly on the Apothecary video, so do check that one out if you want a full review, because there's so much going on in the content. It's why it's so high. The song itself, I'm not really fussed over. I prefer the first OP to the second OP, but there's some really nice bits. There's a lot of really nice bits on the chorus, and you've got the vocalization where she's just grabbing up for the lights. This anime's got such a lot going for it, and there's a lot going on in this OP. Just to be summarizing, if you want a deep dive, go check out the video, because I go through some of the colors and what they mean. But it's definitely a very good content one, where they've put a lot of thought into what's on the screen, a lot of thought of what they want to show prior to the anime kicking off. And it's been an anime that I've been watching now. I think we've been doing breakdowns on the channel for 4 months. It's a mainstay, and I'm very happy to be breaking it down with you guys. Which means in first place, if you are watching a lot of anime, you know there's only going to be one that is in the top. And oh my god, it's been in my ear for a very long time. It's been earworming its way in. Initially, I heard it once. I was like, Okay, I get it, it's fine. But then I started hearing the covers. Then I started hearing it everywhere. Then I started seeing it everywhere in reviews. And I was like, oh no, it's in my brain. And yeah, it's the Mashal song, the Bling Bang Bing Born or whatever it is. Oh my god, this song is an earworm. It carries the vibe of Mashal just to the T. I love the dance. Of course, there's the dance that goes with it as well. Sets up the craziest OP, the vibe, everything. This OP's everywhere. At one point, it was this one versus the solo one. Now that I'm like kind of mixed, I think the Mashal one is just crazy, and the fact that it's able to infiltrate mainstream YouTubers and mainstream music charts. I always say if an anime can break across into mainstream territory, it's doing something right. The song itself is crazy. I've heard the real big long version, the full version, and it is awesome. So I think it carries the vibe. I think it's got a lot of that Mashal. You hear it and you think, oh yeah, it's Mashal. I'm very happy to put Mashal in first place because it's crazy enough and it is fun. There's some really fun like voice lines in there. There's some very fun beats in the song itself. So go check out that song and get it stuck in your head. I will take no responsibility to anyone getting this song stuck in their head. Let's go into the EDs, and in the honourable position we're going to have Loop 7's ED because I really like the play out on this one. I like the childhood kind of memories. This is after the craziness of the plot. We're going to chill out, relax, and these are essentially all of our characters winding down for the day. The song I think carries it quite nicely. It is only an honourable because it is a little bit roll credity, and if you know this channel well enough, as opposed to a show that actually has a constructed ED where we have bits and pieces to play us out with. But it is a good song and I think it does carry the vibe very well. In third, we're going to have the Sign of Affections ED because there's a lot more going on here. I love the fact that it's soft. I love the fact as well we've got this idea of snowfall and it's really colourful. Our character starts in line art, and then as she starts to experience the world because she is deaf, the colours start to appear. Everything starts to paint in like watercolours, and a lot of those metaphors and symbols actually play a lot in the actual anime itself. It's a super good anime. I really enjoy that show. But at the moment, I'm really liking it, and I think it deserves its place on the ED chart. It's a solid ED. In second position, we're going to have the Apothecary Diaries ED, because I really like this one. I actually think I prefer the ED better than the OP if it's song related, but I love the fact that the colours, we've already broken this down properly on the channel as well. It's Jinshi related. There's a lot of really nice colours. It comes full circle. You actually notice that he's quite down until his world lights up again when he sees Mau Mau. So there's a lot of really nice little takes in it. You quite understand what the characters are feeling. You actually understand what's going on in their lives, and I like the fact that they brought a lot of these closers into the wind down of their OP. I think it is a very nice ED indeed. First place for EDs is going to go to the Solo Leveling one, because I love the way that they have done this. The fact that it's very retro, the fact it feels very gamey. Big change as well with resolution, the screen resolution changes. It just carries that retro vibe, and I think that in itself is very, very clever. The song is fun. Normally with Solo Leveling, it ends on a cliffhanger, so to hear the song start playing, it's actually quite fun, and I do like the beat. I like the vibes, I like the drops, I like a lot of the instruments that they've chosen to, especially with the show being slightly game related. The ED, I think it really works. I love the colour palette as well. So we've got a lot of those blues being carried across, and I would say the ED feels a lot more wind down, serious than the OP does. Definitely prefer the content and the overall impact that the ED has over the OP. I think the OP is great, but I don't think he carries the vibe of the entire show quite as well as the ED does. So that of course leaves just my anime now. So we're going to go into my top 3 anime, including a honorable mention, because I actually really like the honorable, and I can see the honorable, if it really plays its cards right, eventually making its way onto the top 3. Now with these, anything can change. In the end of season review, we tend to go through and I reorganize my thoughts and tell you what I overall think. Let's see if these guys can cling to their places and if number 1 can stay number 1. Honorable mention is going to go to Loop 7. I really like Loop 7. I didn't think I would. I thought it would just be your stereotypical kind of anime that goes round and round. It's a show where she has essentially lived 6 lives prior to this point, where she's died in each of them, and she's died in different manners. But in each of her playthroughs, her lives, something has always remained the same, that the prince of another neighbouring country has always invaded, started a war. So this time round, she ends up trying to live the quiet life, run away, but she ends up shenanigans and she ends up married to her worst enemy, and there is a lot going on. I would say the end of episode 5 has literally really swung my attention because I wasn't expecting that. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it is really, really cool and I'm really enjoying it. In third place, we're going to have Solo Leveling. Yep, I know it's lower than I think most people were going to put it, but just bear with me with this one. For now, I am really enjoying Solo Leveling. I don't think it's quite made it high enough to grab my attention to go into first and second. However, there is a lot of promise here. It's got a promise that it could get really, really good. I want to know what they're going to do with big questions in the background, where like, where are these gates coming from? What is the bigger picture? What's going on with our boy? What's happened to him? Because he's suddenly magic and he's got all these powers and he's suddenly really, really strong and he's seeing things. So it makes me wonder if everybody in like maybe the S class can see this. And I just got questions. I've got so many questions and I really like the color palette. I like some of the vibes as well. I just want to keep an eye on it. So for now, it's going to stay in third, but I am really enjoying the show. Keeping an eye on it, very pleasantly surprised. So I think I've actually watched all of the manhwa adaptations so far. It's not beating my love for Tower of God, but it is close. And I think because Tower of God's adaptation wasn't the best, I think it was okay, but it could have been a lot better. And I am expecting the season 2, when that does come out, to actually maybe overpass the first one quite quickly. But I would say with Solo Leveling, I am really enjoying the premise. I just have questions. I really hope at some point he's able to maybe go into the S class. I want to see what happens if he starts pushing the plot a bit. What's going to happen? What's going on with these mystical gates? What's behind it all? Why is he suddenly seeing this stuff? I've got so many questions, but that is a sign of a good anime because it's not giving me everything off the bat. It's making me think. In second place, we're going to have A Sign of Affection. At one point, I didn't think this show would make my top 3, but it did start to really build on me. And recently, I just found myself guilty pleasuring over like wondering when the next episode is going to drop, what's going to happen. And I get the butterflies, I get those moments. If you're not into your romance animes, you may not enjoy it, but I don't think it's a stereotypical romance in a sense where the main character is deaf and you've now got to experience the way that she views the world. I've still got some questions and there's a few bits where I've got to, I guess, suspend my disbelief, or I'd have questions that I would generally want to ask people who are deaf or people who are very similar. I have questions, but I like this show. I think this show deserves your attention. I think you should at least give it the 3 episode rule. Have a look at the first 3 episodes. It's really starting to build into something that I can really enjoy. It's also reminding me a little bit of, oh my goodness, the anime Paradise Kiss, I think was it called. It's very much a mature romance. There are people who are going to be heartbroken by the end of it. There's people who are in love with like the main character, but he has no interest in them. It's got these very complicated adult relationships going on, which I think make this kind of thing more interesting. Paradise Kiss, I loved till the final episode, and I think of a lot of people, the ending kind of broke it for everybody, but it is also an anime where this is real life. We don't always have a good ending, so I do wonder how this one's going to end, but I have higher hopes that it's not just going to be a case that it's going to be a bittersweet ending, because I have got my doubts because things happen quite quickly in the show, but I am hoping to be pleasantly surprised with the outcome. So definitely check it out if you're in a mood for a romance anyway, or if you want a show that's slightly more mature, I guess deals with more real aspects like being deaf in Tokyo, I guess, being deaf in Japan and dealing with those challenges. I think definitely give that show a check. So in first place, I'm going to be giving it to Apothecary Diaries once again, holding its crown. I love this show. You love this show. Everybody loves this show. I think it's amazing. I have just ordered a wig because I really want to do Mau Mau. Don't know what to do with the outfit yet, but I am going to get the wig in, start working on it. I guess if I want to do something a bit more crazy, I can probably mess around with a wig to do it. I like this show. This show is continuing with its mysteries. It's continuing with the same level of details. The attention to detail in this show is amazing. If you want world building, this is the anime for you. If you like mysteries, this is the anime for you. If you simply just want to look at pretty colours, pretty outfits, also the show for you, because everything in this show looks absolutely amazing. I was wondering if it would get knocked out of place by something like Solo, but Solo's great, but it hasn't got my eye like this show. This show has worked every single episode to keep my attention. Even in the episodes where things are quieter, and you will know when I've had a quiet episode because my length of the video will go down. And I think the quietest one we've had so far, I think the video was 9 minutes long because nothing happened. But I still had good things to say. I still saw the relevance of having the episode there, and I saw that they still kept up the amount of details in those episodes. So I am really appreciating Apothecary Diaries. My downside with Apothecary Diaries is just the amount of spoilers floating around. I do have somebody checking comments, but a few keep getting through. It doesn't help that he edits the Iona videos, but he's also occasionally checking my moderation, so he checks out those comments for spoilers. He doesn't also know what's going to happen, so it's very difficult for him to sometimes go, is that a spoiler? It's difficult because I want to go into this completely blind. I want to be surprised. I don't want to see things broadcasted coming my way that are going to ruin the impact of something. I think overall, if you are able to stay away from spoilers, this is the show. Apothecary Diaries all the way. So let's see how things play out, whether Apothecary Diaries can be dethroned, because I think it's already had a crowning of anime of the season for me already at one of them. I know it's one anime of the season already. It's continuing for now, but anything can happen. You never know. I might crown a Sign of Affection the number 1. We will see what's going to happen, guys. I'm very excited to present my ideas to you guys. Let me know what you're enjoying in the comments below. Let me know what songs you're listening to. Have you also been plagued by the earworm that is Mashal? Let me know in the comments, guys. I will see you guys again soon. Have a good day, guys. Bye bye.